Tonight I want to look at 1 Corinthians 9:24. Let's all turn there. And we're going to look at the Word of God. And we're going to look at this thought. I know that probably the verses that we're first going to look at this evening, we've talked about before, but we're going to, with the grace and help of God, look at them in a new perspective, in a new light. And I trust that you'll walk away encouraged and realizing that in this race that we're running, that we need to win. We need to win the race. And we're going to look at what Paul referred to this race so much. Someone read 1 Corinthians 9:24. I'm sorry, I put the wrong verse up there, didn't I?
Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run that ye may obtain.
Amen. This is what Paul was saying. He said this. He said, you've all been to a stadium and you've seen athletes. And he says, everyone runs, but one wins. And he said this, you need to run to win. How many of you want to win the race? Now, I'm probably competitive inside. I like to win. Now, I know some people's personalities, it doesn't matter to them. And it doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to get mad at you or be a sore loser. But I really do like winning. I mean, it's a good feeling, isn't it? I mean, if you put your best effort forth, you want to win. And Paul talked about the importance of winning this race. Now, we want to look at why did he talk about this spiritual relationship with God as a race? Why did he talk about life being a race? He said, you've all seen those races. You've seen those marathons. What is it that is a comparison that makes our journeying in spiritual matters and through the course of life? What makes it like a race? Well, the first thing is, it makes it like a race because, did you ever notice races, typically marathons, have ups and downs? Did you know that? Typically a marathon will have ups and downs. Any of you realize that life in this race of life has ups and downs? Oh yeah. Some ups, some downs. They're both definitely there. And so that's kind of like the race of life with its ups and its downs. But also, the race of life, at the end, there is a judge who's going to say who won. You ever been there where they declare who the winner is? They run across the line, the whistle was blown, the winner is declared. Well, someday the judge is going to declare who the winner is of this race. And next of all, did you know that every race seems to have something at the very end of it? What is it? A prize, but what is that? Finish line. There is a finish line at the end of this race. Do you know for our race, there is a finish line at the end of it? I'll give you a clue. There could be two different finish lines. Everybody who's lived only known one so far. What do you think the finish line might be? Death. What would the other one be? Or rapture. So two things could be our finish line. Death or the rapture. And life is like a race because life ends with winners receiving their reward. Now back in the Roman times, they would win that green leafy crown. Can you imagine winning that crown? But it fades away. It's going to, within time, it's going to turn all brown, and it's going to wither and fall apart. But they ran the race very hard to win that corruptible crown. Now, you don't have to raise your hands, but if any of you in here ever won a trophy, where are they at now? I've won a couple in my life. I can't say that I have a whole mantle full, but I won a couple. And I gotta be honest with you, I don't even know where they're at. Probably snatched away in a closet somewhere. But we are running for a prize that is important tonight, and we must run to win. Someone look up Hebrews 12:1. Someone look up 2 Timothy 4, verse 7 and 8. Hebrews 12:1. Someone else look up 2 Timothy 4, 7 and 8. Someone have Hebrews 12:1.
Wherefore, seeing we are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which does so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us.
Paul says, let's run this race. Lay aside everything. There's a cloud of witnesses that beckon us on. Once again, he tells us about this life being like a race. And we must win the race. And once again, life is a race. Life is a race. Now, I'm not hurrying through it too quickly, but it is a race. I'm finding it's going pretty quickly. How about you folks who's a little older? Now, I know you young folks sitting over here, you don't understand that yet. But one day, you're going to understand how quickly life really goes. I said to someone recently, I said, man, the day's just flying by. And this older person said, what do you mean? The whole year's flying by. Well, my perspective was a day, and theirs was the year, but it goes by quickly, and it's a race that we're running. And what does Paul say in 2 Timothy 4, 7 and 8?
I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day. And not to me only, but unto all them that love also that love his appearing.
Paul said this at the end of his life. He said, I have kept the faith. I fought a good fight. I have finished the course. I have kept the faith. He said, I'm about to cross the finish line. I've run the race of life. Now, he's told us all about the race of life, but let's talk about what really helps us win in this race of life. Now, the world's perspective of winning is based on 4 different things that I want to look at this evening that are really off the mark, and the first one would be this. Does some smart person out there know what that says?
Intelligence.
Intelligence. All right. All right. Yes. All right. Intelligence. The smarter you are, the world says, the more respect you will gain. All right. Now, what's this word for all you people out there that has a pocket that jingles? Maybe you're single. What's that word? Wealth. The more money you have, the happier you'll be. How about this out there for all those fashiony people? What's that word? Image. The better you appear, the more popular you'll be. For all you strong people out there, what's the 4th? Power. The stronger you are, the more control you will have. That's the world's perspective. That's what their winning the race is all about. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with educating yourself. There's nothing wrong with having money. In fact, if you'd like to share, I'll share with you. Your money, that is. There's nothing wrong with looking nice. And there's certainly nothing wrong with having position, but that's not what the race of life is all about, is it? That's not what God says that this race of life is about. Someone look up Ecclesiastes 9:11. Ecclesiastes 9:11. Solomon had some great insight to give us. Someone read Ecclesiastes 9:11. Someone else look up Matthew 5:45 and Romans 9:16. Matthew 5:45 and Romans 9:16. Someone tell us, what did Solomon, the wisest man in all the world, say?
I returned and under the sun, that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happeneth to them all.
Didn't he just knock all these right out of the water? He said, I returned and I saw under the sun. He said it wasn't to the swift. He said it wasn't unto the men of skill. He said it wasn't to the one who was wise, nor to the rich one, nor to the one that was favored. But he said this. He said life. He said in this life, good things happen to the good and the bad people. It doesn't matter who you are in life. It doesn't matter if you gain all these things. That's not winning the race. Young people, you have your whole life in front of you. I'm going to focus on you four there for a minute. All right? You four with me? All right, so test four no more. All right. I want to tell you that the greatest thing that you can do in your life is to serve God. I know it's nice to not be the fifth wheel, the odd duck. You know, you like to look nice, and you like to have some intelligence, and you like to have a good image. But you know what? That is not what the race of life is about. It's about knowing God. Knowing God while you are young. And knowing Him throughout your life, if God should grant you the opportunity to live a long life. That is what the race is all about. Because regardless if you look good, or whether you're powerful, or whether you're smart, or whether you're wealthy, good things will come. It will be the highs and the lows of the race that will affect every one of us. But your riches and your power and your look will not do anything for you in those lows. But when you run the race for God, God will give you grace in the race to run, to win. Someone read Matthew 5:45.
That ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh the sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and
Send it.
oh, that was a hard one.
That's right.
Rain on the just and on the unjust.
Listen, no matter how hard we can try in life, we're all going to have problems. It's going to rain on the just and the unjust. But we're going to keep on running the race. It's about winning in this race, no matter how hard the race gets. Someone read Romans 9:16.
So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of God that showeth mercy.
It is God's mercy that helps us in the race. There was a story that I read that was really good of a gentleman who in 1968, that was a couple years before Brother Chico was born. For the rest of you out there, I'll tell you a little bit about history. In 1968, the Olympics was held in Mexico City. There was a gentleman in the race who was from, let me find it in my notes here. I know in my head, but I can't cut it off. Who was from Tanzania. It was said that during the Olympics, and that there was one man who crossed over the finish line. It was hours that passed where others slowly came, but it had been almost an hour since anyone else had crossed the finish line. They said that the stadium was beginning to empty out, and all of a sudden there were sirens and there was whistles that began to blow and happen. And all of a sudden they looked and they seen the Tanzanian man who came dressed in his garb in what would be representation of his country. He said they seen him and he was coming stumbling down and he crossed the finish line. They looked and there he was holding onto his leg. You could tell he had fallen. There was blood running down his leg. He was having a hard time. He didn't even look back at the crowd that was cheering and applauding for him. He was the very last man that finished the race there in the Olympics that happened there in Mexico City.